What if the truth hiding in the depths was far darker than we ever imagined? AI has just completed its most advanced scan yet of the Titan submarine wreck, and the results are nothing short of chilling. From twisted metal that tells an untold story to hidden details experts missed, this isn't the disaster you thought you knew. Stick with us until the end. What you're about to learn will leave you stunned. When officials went back to the Titan wreck site in 2025, they had a lot more advanced technology than they had used the first time. Instead of remotely controlled cars driven by people, they used AI submersibles that could do everything on their own. Laser-based 3D mapping, advanced sonar, and machine learning were all used by these tools to make an accurate digital model of the seabed. Sonar tracked things that were hidden in the sand or shadows while the lasers moved across the ocean floor in grids that overlapped. An AI built into the scanner took data from each pass and quickly put it all together to make a very accurate 3D map. From the start, it was clear that this footage had an edge over the footage from 2023. Human-piloted ROVs could only stay on site for a short time because of the weather and the cost of running them, so they had to work quickly and sometimes missed small details. The 2025 AI subs, on the other hand, could move slowly without worrying about pilots getting tired or running out of air. They stayed on site for days at a time and scanned the same places more than once from different angles. They were able to record textures and forms down to a few hundredths of a millimeter. Working in complete darkness was another problem that AI was better at solving than people. Light doesn't go very far at 3,800 meters below the surface, so cameras by themselves weren't very useful. The AI system didn't need light to work. Instead, it used LiDAR-style laser pulses that bounced off objects and gave accurate readings of distances. When AI was given sonar data, it built solid models of trash, even ones that were buried under layers of silt. This new video was so clear that engineers could see tiny cracks and scoring marks that weren't visible in the old film. The self-driving submarines also had devices that could learn on their own. As they got more information, they learned to focus on places that were most likely to have new hints, like places where the sonar echoes were not normal or where the texture of the seabed changed quickly. Because of this adaptive scanning, not a single pass was lost. If the AI found something that didn't belong, it could go back and scan again from a different point right away. It had mapped a much bigger and more detailed area by the end of the mission than any other try. What the latest scan uncovered in the wreck's deepest sections rewrites everything experts believed about the Titan's doomed descent. The 2025 mapping by the AI showed that Titan's wreckage was spread out over a much bigger area than investigators had thought. As of 2023, the pieces of the Titanic were thought to be limited to a small field near the bow. The new scan showed pieces that were hundreds of meters longer and sometimes buried under decades of sediment on the seabed. The large range of pieces shows that the implosion may have had even more force than thought, sending smaller pieces flying in all directions. It also explains why earlier searches failed to find some parts that were lost. One of the most shocking discoveries was that the Titanic's rustic layers had tiny pieces of metal stuck in them. These, which are flimsy, icicle-like structures made of bacteria that eat iron, had carbon fiber, wiring, and even tiny pieces of titanium stuck inside them. This means that the shockwave from the implosion sent pieces of the Titanic straight into its breaking structure. Some of these pieces may have been stuck there since the day of the accident, making them a permanent part of the famous wreck. Such fine-scale scanning by the AI would not have been possible without the finding. Over the past 2 years, the currents at the wreck site have been pretty calm. This has kept many parts of the scene in almost perfect shape. AI images showed that whole parts were still resting in the same place they landed in June 2023, not moved by the water. Even the marks that some panels left on the bottom can still be seen. Small pieces of refuse are slowly being hidden from view as sand settles on top of them in some places. Because of this time capsule effect, scientists could study the spot just as it was after the implosion. The new data also showed signs of movement that happened months after the disaster. Some pieces seem to have moved slightly, which could be because deep-sea life interacted with them or because of small changes in the current. AI found paths in the sediment that led away from heavy debris, which suggests that the sediment slowly slid downhill. Even though these changes are small, they show how important it is to quickly record the spot before nature erases important details. The position of each piece tells us something about the forces that caused the implosion. The scan gave us new information about the link between where the debris is located and how the structure fails. Some panels that are far from the main wreck have clean edges, which means they came off early in the collapse process. Others that are closer to the pressure tank are bent and warped, which suggests they stayed in place until the end. Researchers can learn more about how Titan failed in its last few milliseconds by drawing this pattern across the spot. Without the accuracy of AI mapping, it would have been impossible to get this kind of forensic information. The 2025 AI scans found designs on the carbon fiber hull surface that had never been seen before. Some pieces had tiny peaks and waves, which are called micro-buckling. Each one was a unique mark of how the material broke when it was pushed too hard. These shapes were too small for cameras to see in 2023, but the submillimeter 3D models made them clear. They were able to see where the buckling started and how it spread by comparing different parts of the hull. With this map, they were able to figure out the order of events leading up to the collapse. The information suggests that the structure failed in 2 stages, rather than all at once. It's possible that localized stress caused a piece of carbon fiber to separate and curve inward during the first stage. A few milliseconds later, the failure spread to the rest of the body, which caused the terrible implosion. Before this discovery, people thought that the Titan's loss was a single, immediate event. It also helps explain why the debris is spread out in different places. The uneven fall may have sent things flying out at slightly different speeds and angles.